Hey, this is Namdev Hardesty, the MBA studio. Today I want to talk about a really simple process for generating ideas and getting around creative block. So let's say you have something to design and you're stuck on it. The example I'm going to use, because I think it's relevant to my life at the moment, is designing an identity system for myself. As a designer, it's like always impossible to design an identity system for myself because I have so many ideas. So the process I'm going to use is this very simple kind of like beginning, middle, and an end sort of way of looking at it. So the first thing to do is to start brainstorming all of the things that I want to communicate or could communicate about myself, about my work, about my interests. So it could be I want to communicate an interest in like print design or book design, that there are elements of like historical reference in the work, or that we're very sort of detail oriented, whatever those might be. But I'm gonna start making this big long list. And once I have that list, I'm gonna start going through it and thinking like, okay, well, what do I want to prioritize? Like if I could only say one thing, what would it be? It'd be book designer? I don't know. And then I'd go, okay, like what's the second thing I'd want to talk about? Maybe that's about, I don't know, collaboration. And then the third thing I want to talk about, which might be the historical references. So those are my three: book design, historical references, collaboration, and we're going to say that the number one most important one is book design, the second one is the collaboration, and the third one is the historical references. So then I'm going to brainstorm ways that I can talk about these ideas visually. Like what can I make them look like? Like how can I communicate the idea of book design through something as small as a business card? Is it through the format? How would I communicate collaboration? Is that going to be through the copywriting? Or is it going to be through like an intersection of multiple typefaces, or about the two sides of the business card coming together to form one thing? And then the last one is going to be this historical references. Like how's that going to come through? Does it just come through in the use of like an aged kind of paper? Or does it come through in a typographic reference to something else? Like the current MVA work, there's a reference to Jan Sitchold. So, but I'm going to need three, and I'm probably going to try to take those three and find at least 10 different ways of communicating each of them. So now I've got this like really rich list, and then the goal is to start piecing those together, only trying to communicate those three ideas, and to sort of sum up each of them in a very kind of obvious fashion. So that the business card, first and foremost, in a way, says book design, then it says collaboration, and lastly, it says historical reference. And I'm not trying to make this in such a way that when I show it to someone, they're going to grab it and they're going to immediately pick up on these three references. What's important to me is that those ideas are there because they give me a foundation to work with, that then I can go like, okay, now that I have these three ideas in here, how do I make it beautiful? As opposed to how I might approach it, which is, let me just try to make the coolest thing possible. But the problem with that, for me at least, is like not enough gravity. I'm not attached to the ideas. So I need a solid foundation of ideas, and then I can make something beautiful on top of it. And I use this sort of 1, 2, 3 approach a lot. We've used it in a lot of soap factory work. I have students always do at least one project using this methodology, because it leads to a more sort of layered, almost less punchline oriented approach to design. Here's the pitch. This summer I'm teaching a class called Developing a Visual Identity through MCAT Continuing Education. It's a 6-week course, and it's specifically about designing identity systems, presumably for yourself, because that's like the most difficult one. But we're going to look at multiple ways of concepting these. We'll spend the first 2 weeks just exploring different sort of brainstorming and ideation processes and creation processes, as well as looking at other identity systems. And then we'll spend the last 4 weeks actually designing one. You can get more info about that at the-mva.com/teach. And that has all of our MCAT stuff on it. Thanks for your time. And you can check us out on Twitter. It's @the MVA. Thank you very much.